At a time when billions of dollars are being poured into the Darling Downs, residents of Oakey fear they'll miss out because of the defence water contamination crisis. Banks have already tightened lending criteria, telling prospective home buyers to look elsewhere. Lachlan Kennedy is in Oakey as part of our special coverage. And Lachie, what's the impact of the issue on business in the town?
Yeah, Georgie, right across farming, retail and real estate, there has certainly been a slowdown and confidence has waned, particularly in the past 12 months. The greatest fear now is that when you search Oakey on the internet, the results are dominated with details about the contamination. So how on earth is that meant to instill confidence in out-of-town investors who may want to spend money here in the future?
It doesn't take stud cattle producer David Jeffress long to calculate the cost of the contamination issue.
Our income has been zero income since it started.
One of only a handful of primary producers in the investigation zone, he refuses to irrigate using groundwater. He hasn't sold a bull in 2 years and doesn't want the government to lower food standards to allow him to.
We don't allow any contaminants in our meat industry. We never have. Australia's got a very clean image and we want to keep it that way.
Businesses in town are also worried about image.
Pretty much all over Australia, Oakey is known as the toxic town. That's the worst part that goes out there.
Andrew Langton heads up the local Chamber of Commerce. He wants Defence to urgently help those who've been affected so the town can move forward and continue to rebuild after years of drought.
Every time we turn around when we think we should be in a boom phase, that there's something else that pops up that we have to look at and get over again.
20 minutes from Toowoomba, Oakey should be reaping the rewards of billions in nearby investments. The second range crossing will bring travellers closer to town when it's complete in 2 years. Wellcamp Airport, just 15 minutes away, is growing, launching direct flights to Townsville from November, while a $47 million solar farm on the outskirts of Oakey will mean 125 new jobs during construction.
This will give the Oakey residents and families the uplift that they need. They have gone through an absolutely, awful time in recent months and years.
But attracting new families to Oakey is the challenge. Real estate agent Tracy Tierney says the selling points are obvious: good schools, good infrastructure and a country community feel. But the banks aren't lending, worried about the water issue.
The valuers have been told to put a briefing on the bottom of all values saying it is a high-risk area. It's a bit unfair. People want to live in the town.
An unfortunate reputation restraining much-needed growth.
There are calls for all banks and all lending institutions to sit down with Defence and take a close look at the maps to see whether it really is appropriate for every property in this town of 4,200 to be classified as high risk for lending. Now, tomorrow night, Georgie, as we continue our reports from Oakey, we speak to a man who's lived next to the army base for 25 years. He shares a fence with it. Now, he doesn't have a bore on his property and he assumed there would be no trace of chemicals in his blood. Well, the results of his tests and his story tomorrow night at 5.
Lachlan Kennedy reporting live there from Oakey. Thank you.